Putrid. Putrid, putrid, putrid. I'm sorry for going live late. I was watching the rest of the Eagles-Chiefs game, and yeah, I at least got one win tonight out of three of my teams. That's just great. That's just great. But the team that matters the most for you guys, and even for myself, I would say, is this team, the New York Rangers, and they laid an egg in Dallas. So where do we start? Do we address the elephant in the room, or do we just try our best to cope? Do we try our best to cope here and say, you know what? They're 12-3-1. They're first in the Metro still by a decent amount, I would say, because I don't know how legit Philly is. Not sure what Washington's deal is, but do we cope, or do I do what I usually do and get irrational? Probably the latter of the two is going to happen because that's just how I am, unfortunately. But I'm worried. I'm worried in the sense that this team's number one center, I don't think I have to say any more outside of where you think this one's going to go, because I've been ripping them to shreds despite the Rangers winning games. How am I supposed to handle this when they lose games? Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we jump into everything, leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when I upload, do all that. Feel free to send super chats too if you want to. Whatever. Do whatever. But let's address the elephant in the room right away. Mika Zibanejad. Statboy Steven. Let's read off a couple tweets because he dunked on Mika Zibanejad tonight. Nick Bonino has as many 5v5 points as Mika Zibanejad now. That was his first point as a Ranger. Statboy Steven again. What do Jake Allen, Darcy Kemper, Anton Forsberg, Ville Husso, Karel Vejmelka, Connor Ingram, Alexander Georgiev, Akira Schmid, and Mika Zibanejad have in common? Quote tweet. They're all tied in 5v5 points this season. All those other players are goalies. From Statboy Steven. The only hashtag NYR skater with fewer 5v5 points than Mika Zibanejad this season is Johnny Brzezinski, who played one game. Okay. All right. So I'm trying my hardest. I'm gonna try my hardest to stay sane during all of this when it comes to Zibanejad. But it's hard to when I tweeted back. Shout out to Nico for digging up this gem. I tweeted back, where is it? Here it is. November 18th, 2021. Why is no one talking about how Mika Zibanejad pulled off the biggest heist of all time? He's been non-existent. So almost 2 years to the date, a little over. Carbon copy paste to that season. But you know what the difference is? He shut me up rather quickly. Will he do it again? I don't know. Hopefully. I hope so. I want him to shut me up. I want to look stupid. I want him to play like a number one center. But it's getting hard to defend him when he's not even doing things on the power play. You get to the power play later on in the game. Perfect cross crease pass to him. Couldn't handle the pass. Gets a beautiful one-time opportunity. Doesn't hit the net. What am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to say? Somebody tell me how I'm supposed to defend him. Anybody have an answer? I don't. Outside of the fact that, sorry, he's got a letter on his sweater. The guys like him in the locker room. He's best friends with Chris Kreider. And He scored a lot on the power play in the past. All he needs is one. How long are we going to say the all he needs is one line until he actually gets one? Because he's not getting said one so far. We are 16 games in, and he doesn't have a 5v5 goal. That is a problem. And I get it. They are still 12-3-1. But this was my argument for X amount of games, the past, 12 games? That was how long the point streak was? The past 12 games, all season, pretty much. I've been saying, what happens? Because there's going to be a night it happens where Panarin does not have that point streak anymore. There's going to be a night where that second line doesn't get it done, doesn't produce. And don't get me wrong, they look great out there. Right? The second line looked fantastic tonight. Lafreniere easily should have had at least 2 points in this game. He was so good tonight. But the question arose, what happens when that second line does not produce? Who is going to step up? Who is going to provide the depth scoring? It needs to be your first line. Nope. They weren't there. Blake Wheeler, I said it against New Jersey. I've been saying it all season. Looks way too slow. And Chris Kreider does not get a pass either for not putting up numbers 5v5. He doesn't. That entire first line has just been disappointing. And you notice how we all talk about it when they don't win? Even when they win, they're not producing. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's great that they find ways to win without them producing, and you hope that they get going at some point. But I'm having a very hard time, an extremely hard time, hanging on to my hat here and saying, all they need's one. All they need's one. Because when are they going to get number one? What kills me too? What kills me? They looked so good in that first period. They looked great. Looked great. They did everything you could ask for and then some in that first period. You know what? The only thing they didn't do in that first period is really put the game completely away from Dallas and net more than one goal. But still, they did pretty much everything you could ask for in that first period. They looked great offensively. The breakout passes were unbelievable. Their transition play, are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Love the play we saw in transition. And their 5v5 Corsi does not back up how good they played in that first period, because a lot of those chances were in transition with odd man rush opportunities. They were breaking the puck out of their own end. They were breaking through the neutral zone. They were getting the scoring chances. They had, they had 4 high danger chances that period. They did not give Dallas an inch. Dallas had 1 or 2 sustained offensive zone shifts? 1 or 2? They didn't let Dallas get anything. Shots were 16-7 in favor of the Rangers that first period. They didn't let anything happen. The Rangers, it took them a power play to score. Trocheck got tripped by a steal. He ends up scoring on the power play. Trocheck and Gustafsson come up flying. Kreider got a feed from Trocheck, and that ended up being wide, but Trocheck ends up coming around the net and burying it 1-0. They had an opportunity to score on the power play earlier on too, but they couldn't even, the first unit couldn't even get set up, and they were throwing shots on without traffic. But they really had so many good opportunities in that period. They had odd man rushes. They had all the chances. I'm not even going to break down each opportunity. Lafreniere had 3 shots on goal alone in the first 10 minutes of the game, right? He easily should have got a point. Panarin, I don't expect him to get a point every game, and we saw it tonight. He didn't get a point tonight, but he missed the net a couple of times too many. Like, Lafreniere set him up for so many opportunities. And then the Rangers did what they have been doing, and I'm getting aggravated by it. The falling asleep at the wheel come the second period needs to come to an end because they were horrendous at the start of that second period. You have a turnover by Lafreniere. Ben almost got a goal. Igor stopped him. Duchesne missed wide on a rush chance. But the breakout passes, again, was hyping it up and talking about how great it was in the first period. That went away in the second period. Then the Rangers started to find their game a bit. They had a couple good shifts. They got going a bit. They ended up making it 2-0. Kakko gets a lucky bounce off of Suter's stick on a give and go with Bonino. You take it, 2-0. And then, right after the Rangers fall asleep at the wheel again, K'Andre Miller, oh boy, was he horrendous in this game. Terrible turnover in the offensive zone. 3-on-1 comes the other way. Pavelski, Hintz, and Ben have just a field day with the passing, and Ben buries it 2-1. There was a lot of times in the first period, since I didn't break down the entire first period there, Miller, there was one sequence, terrible pass to Trouba, which forced them to restart the breakout. They couldn't break it out. Miller turned it over to Johnston, and yeah, Dallas ended up having some opportunities off of that. K'Andre Miller was horrible in this game. Horrible. And you know what? It's sad too. Like, he got better in the third period. Like, he got better through the game. Didn't matter because Jones and Schneider were, I wanted to vomit. Like, you miss Adam Fox during a night like this. You miss Adam Fox because the power play needed Adam Fox desperately. The penalty kill needed Adam Fox desperately. They just needed Adam Fox. They do. But yeah, Trouba had to make a big block because Miller went running out of position again. But also, by the way, what was with that commercial break with 44 seconds left in that period? Why? I don't understand that. But I thought the game opened up way too much. The Rangers let that game open way too much. They had 6 high danger chances. I love the chances they got offensively. Wedgwood was up to the task and made saves, but they let Dallas get way too many sustained offensive zone shifts, and a lot of that's because they could not break the puck out, and anytime they did, they turned the puck over. And then the third period. Do I need to say more? Do I need to say more? Mika fed Chris Kreider for an opportunity alone, right in front. A chance to put this thing potentially to bed. Doesn't score. And then after, Dallas scores. Heiskin throws one on goal. Jones keeps Hintz from getting the first chance. And then none of the forwards decide to back check on this. And yeah, Pavelski taps it in. 2-2. Mika set up Kreider again. Couldn't get the shot off. Mika couldn't score on a second chance. Trouba had a chance denied. And then this was something else, wasn't it? This is something else. I said I'd be sane, but the Rangers make it so tough when they lose to keep it sane because it's stupid mistakes like this one. Barclay Goodrow going for a line change takes a high sticking penalty. Not making a defensive play, not along the boards, winning a board battle. No. Going for a line change. His stick is not on the ice. And he takes a penalty. Why? Like, why are you skating with your stick that high in the air to go for a line? Not even skating, gliding for a line change with your stick in the air. What? Why? 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 And sure enough, you throw your arms up because, of course, Dallas ends up scoring and capitalizing on it. Johnston fired on a goal. Marchman got the loose puck in, and they called it no goal because it was goalie interference. And then apparently we just make rules up on the fly now. Apparently goalie interference challenges are allowed. Would have been nice if, that was a thing when Dwight King sat on Henrik Lundqvist. Speaking of Henrik Lundqvist, do you guys remember that goaltender interference call on Cam Talbot there? Last minute, who was it? Zibanejad that got that last second goal on Hank Knight. Yeah, do you guys remember that? And they called that no goal for goalie interference. Would have been nice to know then. But anyway, yeah, apparently you could challenge goaltender interference. And I'm not going to lie, that was the right call. That was the right call. That wasn't goalie interference. It was the right call. But my problem is, since when are we allowed to challenge goalie interference? That's a new one to me. Panarin got tripped right after, by the way, and they didn't call a penalty. That was nice. Yeah, and then Dallas would just pour it on, and yeah, 4-2. Schneider, buddy, like we use the expression "got walked" or "got dog walked." Buddy quite literally looked like a dog on a leash getting walked on this play. Marchman got tied up. The puck was left in the crease, and they're trying to tie guys up, and Duchesne just taps it, and it rolls through Igor. The Rangers decide to challenge for goal interference, and you know what? I'm not mad at Laviolette for this one. I see people ripping Laviolette. I know people are probably going to say I'm being biased because I'm a Laviolette guy. I like the aggression in challenging there because the Rangers already had their foot off the gas clearly in that third period. The second period, they had their foot off the gas, even more so in the third. If you wanted to spark your team with a little bit of hope and life, why not challenge it there? Why not challenge it there and give your team a chance? Because if not, they were dead in the water anyway, right? Like, if I like the aggression. I view it as if the Rangers ended up getting that challenge, getting away with that, all right, maybe the Rangers end up finding momentum and they find a way. They didn't win the challenge. They were dead in the water. I like the aggression there personally. I liked it, but I know most people didn't, but I didn't mind it. Then on the penalty kill, Linger got hooked, and that they didn't call anything. But regardless, they ended up killing it off. Dadonov then went off for a holding. And for people blaming Laviolette, you got to score here. You have to score on one of these power plays. Kreider set up Trocheck for a tap-in, and Lindell or Hakanpää made a great stick play. The Rangers had no shots on goal because, again, Mika had that mishandle, and he fired wide on an opportunity on a one-timer chance. Not that anyone was hitting the net. Kreider also had a chance to tip one in on one of the power plays. Then Lafreniere then got tripped, and they got a power play, and I know people are upset about Laviolette pulling the goalie here. Go 6-on-4. Like, what do you have to lose? Why not get Lafreniere out there, get an extra guy? Especially with the way Lafreniere is playing in this game. I didn't hate it. I thought it was a good idea to pull the goalie there and to try to score there. Again, I know people don't like it. How about instead of blaming the coach for pulling the goalie there, how about we blame Eric Gustafsson for just giving the puck right to Sam Steele, who got the empty netter, instead of dumping the puck into further down to the zone. And then Rope Hintz got an empty netter, and that was it. And nope, never mind. Chris Paul, Barclay Goodrow cleans up a rebound 6-3. Thank you. That's the game. Third period, horrendous. Shots were 19-10 in favor of Dallas, and they had 5 high danger chances for. The Rangers had 1 at 5v5. Yep. Yep. Here's my problem. I'm not pissed off. Well, let's rephrase this. I'm a little aggravated that Igor Shesterkin let in 2 of those goals. I didn't like the Marchment one. I did not like the Sagan one. I didn't like either of those goals. I thought it was Duchesne that got that goal, but I didn't like either of those goals. But I trust Igor Shesterkin to pick things up. I do. I think he will. I know he will. I still expect Jonathan Quick to start the next game, but I trust Igor to bounce back and be fine. The only thing I'm scared of is if there's a lingering issue with the injury. I hope not, but that's the only thing that concerns me is if there is some sort of issue there. But regardless, I'm not worried. I think he will be fine and he will bounce back and he will be locked in. Even though the rebound controls need to be cleaned up, I trust him. Mika Zibanejad, I'm having a hard time saying he's going to turn things around. Like, I'm not even seeing him do anything impacting the team right now. And it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It sucks too. In a game where your bottom 6 actually played decent. They played decent. There's really only like one player I could say that had a outstanding game tonight, and that's Jacob Trouba. That's the only guy I could say had an outstanding game. As a team, the rest of them, And I get it. Dallas is a good team. And the Rangers, if you really want to try and keep it positive, if you look at the expected 5v5 goals, they were right in the game, and it was a 50-50 game. Fine. And it happens. But my problem is that this team prides itself, and we've been hyping up how good they are defensively. How did you allow Dallas to open up the game that much? That cannot happen. And the second period thing cannot happen. It can't, because they are falling asleep at the wheel way too much in second periods. And at some point we said it was going to bite them, and it did here. Is it going to bite them every game? No. That's just hockey. But you need to be better in these second periods, and the first line needs to be able to step up when the second line doesn't produce. It's just that simple. I'm not going to lose sleep over this, as pissed off as I am, as mad as I probably sound. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. But it's just my problem is, yet again, that they let Dallas open things up way too much. I trust Laviolette to right the ship here and to get them back on track. But can't happen. Cannot happen. But gotta hope they rebound on Wednesday against Pittsburgh. You play a division rival. If you're going to lose to a Western Conference team, fine. Pick up the 2 bigger points on Wednesday when it matters more against a division rival. Go ahead and do that. And again, this is where you could throw your arms up and say, hey, 12-point streak, it was bound to end at some point. Fine. Let it end to a team in the West. Let it end to a team like Dallas. It's just, again, it's just the fact that you got to be better than that defensively. You got to. And I'm just worried about Zibanejad. Like, I am beyond worried. We're 16 games in and not one 5v5 goal, and he's not even hitting the net on his one-timers. It's a scary thought. It's a scary, scary thought. But yeah, I don't know if Laviolette's gonna switch up the lines. We saw some line juggling at the end. Kako, it looked like went back on the first line for a couple shifts. With Zibanejad and Kreider. And then Wheeler was down on that third line again. But I don't know. Maybe we see something new. But the Rangers might be getting themselves to a point where they might have to break up that second line just to get just to get Mika and or Kreider going 5v5. They might have no choice at this point. And I don't want it to be the case, but they might not have a choice because I don't know what else you do to get them going. I don't know what else you do. And yeah, like you said, Matt, as I'm looking over at the chat, and I'll probably just get to the chat now. Yeah, I'm not worried about Igor either. He made big saves in the Devils game. I'm not worried about Igor. I trust him to be better and trust him to be fine. He's the last guy I'm worried about too. I'm more worried about Mika. And yeah, that was a deserved loss. I'm just gonna skip through the chat a bit. It's one game, it's fine. The problem is it's not one game, the falling asleep at the wheel in the second period thing. They did it against Minnesota. They did it here. Let me backtrack. Did they do it against New Jersey too? Or am I crazy? No, they somewhat did against New Jersey. They didn't allow a goal, but I don't think that second period was great. They did it against Columbus. They did it against Minnesota in that first game. Detroit, they took their foot off the gas in the third period. The problem is that it has been a reoccurring thing. And they did it in that game against Minnesota, the second game against Minnesota. The difference is that Louis Domingue made the key saves. So they got to address that. They got to address that. And again, I know they will. It's just that you can't let the game open up that much. You cannot let the game open up that much when your defensive structure is known to be good. But I'm not hitting the panic button here after one game. Believe it. Believe me, I'm not here claiming the sky is falling. I'm not here saying that the season's done. It's just problems that were in the game that need to be addressed. And yeah, I don't know. The only move I feel comfortable with is switching Mika and Trocheck. Lafayette, Panarin have been way too good together to split them up. Plus, they played well with multiple centers. That I could agree with. Maybe you try Mika with Lafreniere and Panarin. And then you go Kreider, Trocheck, Kako. Maybe. I guess. And then Coley, Bonino, Wheeler. Keep the fourth line together. That could work. That could work. I just think, like, how many more games are we going to ride this Kreider Zibanejad thing through without making a change? And again, I get they're winning, but we can't just ignore the issue here with those two. We can't just ignore it. Yeah, I'm on board, like I said, with you guys in chat with that being the switch in the lineup. There's no center they could get. Mika has a no move clause. That's the first time, Luke, I've seen a goalie interference challenge be a thing. I could be wrong, and it could have been a thing, and I could have just forgot about it, but that's the first time I remember it happening. Like, I don't remember goalie interference being reviewed. Don't not overreact yet, Core. Steven is smart, but I still have confidence. I'm not happy with Mika, but I have faith we can't win them all. I'm with you, Bruce. I'm with you, Bruce. My anger mainly goes at Mika Zibanejad in this game tonight. Because every other issue, I know they'll fix and they'll address. Like, I know that they'll be fine defensively because they have a coach that understands the game and probably is not happy with the defensive effort tonight. I trust Igor to be better because we've seen flashes of it this season. I'm with you exactly. I'm just worried about Mika, and I'm very angry about Mika because I don't know what more. I don't know what more leeway we could give him as a fan base at this point. I don't know. And I get the whole new dad thing, but Panarin had a kid this offseason too. I'm like 90% sure. I think he did. Igor did last year and was fine. Like, I'm sorry. At some point, we can't just give him a pass for that. Like, I'm sorry. I get, as someone that's not a parent, hopefully not somewhere out there, but I'm not a parent. Regardless, I shouldn't have even made a joke about that. As someone that's not a parent, I don't understand what that's like. But I've seen guys that in this league that have had kids and come back and be fine. We can't just use that as the excuse. We can't. Like that, the baby keeping him up at night is not stopping him from missing the net on one-timers. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't think that's the reason he's missing one-timers. So, I don't know. Is there anything from Laviolette I could find here? Is there anything? American Airlines Center. They're blasting New York, New York. They played Bing Bong 2 after every goal. Like, it was weird. Like, I don't know. And then their Twitter account tweeting the Texas Rangers are better than the New York Rangers. Like, why are we acting like this was some... Why are the Stars acting like this was a playoff win or something? I don't know. That's bizarre to me. Whatever. I like Dallas, but whatever. The Stars, that is. I hate the Cowboys. Hate the Cowboys. Yeah, Zach Jones should not play next game. Yeah, that I agree with. Jones and Schneider sucked. Sorry, I needed water. Yeah, Jones and Schneider sucked tonight. Yep. 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 And this has been my problem with Brain Schneider. Inconsistency. I can't imagine Jones plays next game, right? Right? Yeah. Anyway, I'd like VC and Kako to be bumped too. Bumped up 2. Wheeler down to the 4th and Goudreau up to 3. C. Benino too slow. I don't know. I would personally prefer Wheeler in the press box and either bringing up Othman or bringing back Showtime, but neither will probably happen, unfortunately. But I don't trust him on Wheeler's just unplayable. He's so slow. So slow. I agree with VC being bumped up. I would not mind VC being bumped up at all. It sucks though that you got no one else that could play center there really, because Goudreau, Benino as the third line center, I don't like it, but Goudreau I don't think is that much better of an option, to be honest. I really don't. I agree, just trying to be realistic. Fair. Fair. I don't, like I said, I don't know where they could put Wheeler, just like how they could construct this lineup if they want to make changes like that. I just don't know. It's hard to figure this out. Like, I really don't know what line combinations the Rangers could roll with. I really don't. They're in such a tough spot when it comes to that, because you don't want to mess with the chemistry of the second line, and you don't have the best options right now with Filipino on the shelf. Like, you don't have the luxury of being able to mix up your lineup a bit, where right now, like, maybe you'd even be trying Filipino on that top line wing. Maybe right now you'd be okay with putting Kreider on the third line, Coley to the right, with, I don't know, Goudreau centering, and then Hedel playing left wing with Zibanejad and Kako or Coley. I don't know. I don't think Berard's ready yet, but yeah, they're not gonna scratch Wheeler. They're not. They should. They probably should. They definitely should. They won't. They won't do it. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Like I said though, I think I'm just gonna wrap it up here. I'm too aggravated right now, like with this loss, even though I shouldn't be. I'm more aggravated than I should be, because again, I know they'll fix the issues, and I know they'll address what went wrong. It's just, again, my worries and anger go towards Mika Zibanejad with this game. Like, this was an eye-opening game to me. It really was. Even though I've been saying it for the past few games now, this game was really, really just such a big eye-opener. And part of that's probably because they lost. But I don't know. I'm going to wrap this up, though, here. I really do appreciate all of you guys stopping in and dealing with my insanity. And I get it. I'm probably being too irrational for people. People probably think I'm being too negative. I get it. And I understand that could be annoying to listen to, but sometimes I'll be honest, I can't help myself. I know deep down they'll be fine. They're 12-3-1. They have a great coach behind the bench. They have a world-class goalie. They have a world-class defenseman coming back in a week. They have the tools. They're just missing their number one center from playing good hockey. And like I've said all post-game, that's where my concern really falls, is where is he? Where is he? Thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. Please leave a like. I'd really appreciate that part. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys. You guys are the greatest for putting up with my insanity. I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one, though. Let's go, Rangers.